Hi, everyone, and welcome to Our Disabled Future, a series where disabled voices lead the way. I'm your host, Nico, and it is a good day for disability inclusion. Each day during Disability Pride Month and beyond, I'm amplifying real disabled stories, where we are, where we want to go, and how the heck we're going to get there. Together, I hope. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Victoria. Let's dive in. Hi, Victoria. Thank you for joining me.
Hey Nico, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Of course. So tell us about yourself and about your disabled life.
So I am a disabled artist, poet, and business owner, and I live in the beautiful southern Colorado. So I am in a rural area of Colorado. So I'm surrounded by the Rocky Mountains and beautiful flowing rivers and in the middle of a pine tree forest. So I'm loving life out here. Um, I was not born disabled, so I became sick and then never got better, and have since been diagnosed with multiple chronic illnesses. So that was not an easy path for me. And, as a former athlete, um, it was difficult getting sick and even more difficult getting a diagnosis. But I used to think that I had to hide the hard parts of my life in order to survive. And then I experienced a shift, or maybe you could call it an acceptance of this new body, this new reality, and just being able to honor my body's truth of where I am right now. And so that shift really altered my perspective on my chronic illness, and it impacted my art, my poetry. I recently published a book, A Call to Awaken, and that's full of poetic pieces that I wrote in that in between time of the pain and the moments of peace. Um, and now I run my business, Vida Mestiza, which is all about turning our lived experience into something beautiful and something wearable, because I want disabled folks like myself to feel seen, to feel heard, to feel empowered, because I really think that our stories deserve to be front and center.
Okay, a lot of different angles. So I'm interested to hear your take on this next question, which is what does a disability friendly future look like for you?
So I think, for me, in an ideal future, I that would be a place where being disabled is just another way of being human. And it's not something that people think, oh, we've got to fix this, or you've got to hide this, or you've got to apologize for this. So that I think that would be like my ideal future would be a place where we didn't have to do those things. And then because of the work that I do in my business, that future would also be a place where there's sensory friendly clothing everywhere. That would not just feel good for our sometimes sensitive skin, but also allow us to express the duality of chronic illness and be proud of who we are and what we do. Um, and then lastly, I think it would be a place where those who are disabled and chronically ill never have to feel like they have to prove who we are, or that we're worthy of rest, or that we're worthy of care, or that we're worthy of opportunities. It would be a place where that, like, creativity and our lived experience would be just as valuable as productivity.
That sounds awesome and like a future we should all work toward. So tell me, Victoria, how do we get there? Do we have to pass legislation? Do we have to share knowledge or build a skill? Something else, maybe? What do you think?
For me, I think there's two different like pathways that we can travel on to get towards that future. And one is involving society. So I think that society needs to start believing that disabled lives are valuable and that they're worthy of investing in, such as, funders supporting disabled owned businesses and supporting disabled creators. I think, I mean, funding is hard enough for anybody to come across nowadays, but funding for those of us who are disabled is a whole other story. So I think that's one way, like changing society's perspective of who has value and why what we do and who we are is valuable. And then I think from the other perspective would be for those of us with disabilities, to keep telling our stories. And I think what you're doing is amazing with your YouTube channel, um, because I think that our stories are very, very powerful. And it's more than just inspiration, it's essential, our stories and being able to share our stories, because I believe that our stories have the power to both reach into the past and start healing ourselves, as well as spread through the present and the future to start healing the wounds of others who are like us. So storytelling is essential.
That really resonates with me. Thank you for your answer. It was pretty unique. Victoria, as we close our time together today, I want to give you a chance that you and I, as disabled people, rarely get, and that is a chance to brag about yourself, something cool that you've done recently, or maybe something cool you're working on. If you want to grow like your online presence, where can people find you? But this is just a place for you to brag about yourself. So let's hear it.
Thank you, Nico. I'm really proud of launching my business Vida Mestiza. And so if anybody wants to find me online, you can find me on my TikTok channel, you can find me on my YouTube channel, and my website is vidamestiza.net. So that's VIDAMESTIZA. And through my business, I really want to provide resources to those of us in the chronic illness and disabled community. That's really important to me. And part of what I do is using the art and the poetry that I create to help others who are like me be able to express ourselves. There's not a whole lot out there for us. And so for me, that's really important, especially having others in my family who are also disabled and who are also chronically ill, a part of that community as well. And so that's just something that's near and dear to my heart, which is why what you do also resonates with me too, as well. Reaching out to others who are in that chronic illness community. So you can find my books on my website too. So this is what it looks like, A Call to Awaken. And that's just a book of poems, like I said, that I wrote in those moments between pain and peace.
Awesome, thank you. We can put some of those links in the video description when we post this video. All right, folks, tune in next time. Remember, this is our disabled future, and we're building it one day at a time, together. Wherever you go, whatever you do, I'm rooting for you, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Bye.